All right, that's at 1 Eastern Sunday. How about this? 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday. Munich, Germany, for the first time ever as the Seahawks and Buccaneers face off. So the Seahawks, here's the thing, they're already in Germany. A new look, new on SportsCenter. This video practicing earlier today for what should be an interesting game. The Bucs coming off a much-needed win last Sunday thanks to that last-minute drive against the Rams. But hey, that was the Bucs. What about Geno Smith and these Seahawks? They're 6-3, Dan, easily atop the NFC West ahead of the defending champs. Geno, the 10-year vet, he's been excellent taking over for Russell Wilson. All of this, definitely a surprise, I think, to many people. Not many people predicted this to happen in Seattle this year. Look at Geno's numbers against Tom Brady's numbers in his first season in Tampa when they went to the Super Bowl. They won it. His numbers are nearly identical to Tom's, I know. If Geno can beat Tom this Sunday, it'll be the second career win against Brady. The last one came way back in 2013 in his rookie season with the Jets, when, of course, Tom was still
best story in the NFL, right?
I think so. I mean, what Geno Smith has quietly done up there in Seattle, because people didn't talk about it really until even a couple of weeks ago for whatever reason. More now with Dan Orlovsky. When you look at Geno Smith's 9 games so far, Dan, I mean, what is the biggest reason why he's playing this way? They're having this kind of success.
Yeah, in their whole offense. They've done the best job in the NFL this year of marrying the outside zone run scheme with their bootleg stuff and kind of forcing defenses to play hesitant. This is the first play of the game last week. You get Noah Fant in motion, and then Lockett comes right behind. So this is a ball fake down to the bottom of the screen. Now everybody's running one way, putting their foot in the ground, going the other direction. First play of the game, it's a little dump-off pass. The next time they show the Cardinals this similar look, it's going to be a run. See these two defenders on the line of scrimmage. They're looking, oh, Geno, last time I saw this, you kept the ball in a pass. That gives a huge cutback for Kenneth Walker. Now we go to the second half. Remember, they started the game pass-run. They start the second half, and they go run to pass. Here's the run. Those defenders backside are kind of hanging like, all right, is it the run or is it that bootleg? Leaves a huge hole front side. First play of the second half, they run the football, and then the next time they come back to it, tight ends are at those wings formations. It's the ball fake, and now a guy like Isaiah Simmons is like, oh, here's that run, and the tight end slices back across the line of scrimmage. This is not a hard throw, obviously, but it ends up being a 15-yard completion. So they do a really good job of that. Again, they start the game, they go pass run, and then they flip it in the second half and go run pass, and it forces a lot of hesitation out of that defense. And I'd say specifically to Geno, he's doing all the really difficult things of quarterbacking really easily. Operational space in the pocket, getting from number 2 to number 3, not forcing the football, but being very accurate with his ball placement in comparison to accuracy. It's really impressive to watch.
And also not just the X's and O's, but the intangibles, the off the field. I mean, he has that locker room, and they fully believe in him with Pete Carroll's guidance.
When we were there in the preseason, we had them versus the Falcons, I believe, or Chicago, excuse me. And we were sitting there talking with Geno, and we were talking about the situation. He said, the best part of this situation is I only have to be 1 of 11. We're good enough. And it really felt like he embraced opportunity, but I don't have to have the Superman aura and/or cape on. I can just go play quarterback for the team. And it seems it's working very well.
Yeah, which sometimes is so much easier said than done to realize you don't have to go make this happen by yourself. So that's Geno. How about the other side with Tom Brady? Coming off of that game-winning drive 4 days ago. We saw him at the podium afterwards. He was obviously quite happy and relieved. Otherwise, though, it's pretty ugly, Dan. I mean, if we're going to be honest about it, right? But we always try to find the silver lining.
Oh, man, this is the hardest question of the week.
What's a positive you can take from that?
I mean, getting a win in a 2-minute drive is awesome, but that was more about what the Rams did more than the Bucs. I'd say Cade Otton, the rookie tight end that they drafted out of Washington, and the connection that he seemed to somewhat start to develop with him certainly became a little bit more reliable in the red zone. Tom Brady throws this seam to him to start that 2-minute drill. He does the right thing about bleeding into the middle of the field, and then the game-winning touchdown pass where he gets it into his hands, and he does the right stuff with the nuance of faking the block and leaking. So if he can be a little bit more of a reliable threat, because Mike's had some drops. He's going to the Hall of Fame, Mike Evans, but he's had some drops. Chris still doesn't look, Godwin-wise, at least totally healthy. So if they can get that tight end production, it might help their offense a little bit more. I still think it's a very subpar offense.
Yes, a good job making
Thanks,
a
man.
positive out of
Thanks.
that
Try
one.
to find something good.
By the way, Caesars, the Bucs 4-5, 3-point favorite over the 6-3 Seahawks. That's what I know. That's what they're saying right now. And again, a 9:30 a.m. Eastern kick in Munich. You were there last week, London. Not an easy thing.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's challenging, but I loved it. So I'd go back tomorrow.
Thank you. The biggest story in the league right now, the health of Bills star quarterback Josh Allen. It's been 4 days since he suffered an injury to the right throwing elbow in their 3-point loss to the Jets. Yesterday, head coach Sean McDermott wouldn't reveal the severity of the injury, only saying his quarterback is day-to-day. Remember, 7-1 Minnesota comes to Orchard Park this Sunday, and if Allen can't go, Case Keenum will definitely be taking over. Our Bills reporter Elena Getzenberg joins us now live from Orchard Park. She is on the Josh Allen watch for us here on SportsCenter. Elena, we're 3 days away from Buffalo's huge game against those Vikings, playing so well this season. What is the very latest on Josh Allen?
Yeah, Sage, the big question here in Orchard Park is if Josh Allen will be participating at practice in about 30 minutes with his teammates. You know, yesterday Allen was not out there. He was out there participating, but he was not playing, and he was seen with a sleeve on that right arm. Bill's teammate Von Miller said, you know, Allen was out there laughing, joking around, being his normal self out on the field. Now, as you said, Case Keenum is that guy who's up next if Allen can't go, and he has the support of that locker room. There were multiple guys saying they believe in Keenum, and Coach Sean McDermott told me that they brought him here for a reason.
All right, Elena, again, according to Caesars, obviously this is a really big game. The Bills open as 8.5-point favorites Sunday night. They are currently 3.5-point favorites now against the team with the second best record in the league. I know you're going to be keeping an eye on this all day long from Buffalo. Elena Getzenberg, thank you. Hannah?
Well, Sage, I'm with Dan Orlovsky, who I'm sure has some thoughts on this as a former quarterback and really understanding how this injury can affect performance in a game. They're in first place, as we know, in the AFC. They do have that tiebreaker over the Chiefs. A lot of teams really hot on their heels, and they want home field throughout. So given the big picture, how do you think the team should handle this injury?
I would sit Josh Allen. And this is one of those moments where you sit there and go, well, we have to protect the player from himself. Josh is notorious for a lot of things, one of those things being incredibly tough and incredibly competitive. This is the second time this young man has dealt with this injury. And the reality is this season, if they're going to be the run or be the team and go on that run that they expect them to, we're 3 months from the Super Bowl still. Quarterbacks throw about 100 balls a day. If we practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then game day, that's almost 4,000 more throws that are left throughout this season for Josh Allen and his arm to take. So do you really want to continue to put that stress on a daily basis on this player that unquestionably you need to go be that Super Bowl caliber team that we know you went all in on doing? So Josh has got to be very honest with himself and the team. Right. As much as you want to be a tough guy in this moment, you got to do what's very much so best, not only for like right now, but for the rest of the season and also the future. Right. You know, like this is, again, second time. So I think unless something drastic happens with his performance in practice and how he responds to that, I'm very, very cautious if I'm Buffalo with Josh Allen.
Yeah, and listen, after the Vikings, and you look at their schedule, they have the Browns and the Lions. So there's a pair of winnable games here, and then obviously they get into
division.
They get into the AFC East. So at the very least, logic would dictate before you get into the teeth of that division schedule, which is a very competitive division, give him some rest. So this also gives us a great excuse to show one of the great plays in playoff history, because Case Keenum is the backup. And back in the day, he and Stephon Diggs, obviously, now they play together with the Bills.
The Minnesota Miracle.
It's the Minnesota Miracle. This was a walk-off win against the Saints. Just an absolutely incredible play. It's just so fun to watch that over and over. And listen, they could be back together as a duo doing their thing on Sunday. The issue is that Josh Allen is such a huge part of this offense in every regard, and he is their running game. Let's face it. Let's put Case Keenum under center. Tell us what that might look like.
To your point, they've scored 25 touchdowns. He's accounted for 23 of them.
Yeah, so think about that.
He's everything.
Right.
There's two big things that stand out to my mind. To your point, Hannah, the run game. And it's often for Josh Allen, it's situational football. 3rd and 2 or 3, red zone stuff. So in those moments, do the Buffalo Bills go with, say, a Wildcat situation? They just traded for Nyheim Hines from Indianapolis. So do they use a little bit of that to try to kind of replicate some of the run game that Josh Allen has brought to them? And the second thing, if we plug and play Case Keenum, he's really made a good career using play action pass, and that being the backbone of the way he plays. That's not a ton of what Buffalo does, but if I'm Buffalo and Case is the guy, I run a ton of that. Not only because that's what Case does well, but Minnesota has got two guys that can absolutely dominate pass rush games, and that's Danielle Hunter and Zadarius Smith. Yeah. I don't want those guys just playing like drop back, rush the quarterback football. I got to give them some things to look at in the play action game to somewhat slow them down. So Wildcat a little bit in situational football and a ton of play action pass.
They're going to have to run the ball, though, to make that play action work. Case Keenum's a really solid backup, as everyone knows. But Josh Allen, responsible for 82% of their yards this season.
I mean, he's everything. He's everything.
Mind-blowing.
That's why you sit him, though. That's why you're cautious.
Absolutely.
With him.
All right, Dan, back with you in just a bit. Thanks.